GM, welcome everyone. Greetings, Austin. How are you doing?
GM Crypto Simba, always great to see you, and great to see everybody tuning in. I'm excited for this episode and what you got in store for us.
Wonderful. Well, welcome to African Voices, where we have conversations about Web3 technology in Africa, with the aim of developing an appreciation of the context here and informing our perspectives on where the opportunities exist, and getting an appreciation for who's doing what and where. Today, we're going to talk about identifying, nurturing, guiding, promoting local talent to participate in the development of Web3 applications. And joining us today will be the folks from Web3 clubs. So we're going
I'm
to
excited for it.
Yeah. Ray, can you play that brief intro? Welcome, everyone. How are you doing? Karibuni, as we say in Kenya.
Asante sana.
Asante sana. Hi.
Hi, how are you? So we have Ochi, Alex, Faith, and Jordan. So what I'd like to do is get our spend a quick minute introducing yourselves, and also with us is Austin, DGen, and then some, who will be joining me in this conversation to talk about talent Web3 development in Africa. Ochi, would you like to go first and just tell us a little bit about how the role you're doing?
All right. Hi guys. Hi everyone. So my name is Ochieng. Basically, I play the role of developer relations for 3 clubs. So my work really is to just identify talent around the country, onboard them onto our community, and then basically curate. I'm running programs for developers to build on different blockchains. So yeah, so that's pretty much what I do, and I also help around with the operations.
Great. Alex, are you around?
Hi, Crypto Simba, GM everyone.
GM. Tell us a little bit about how you got involved with Web3 clubs, and what is your role and what are you doing?
Okay, thank you. So yeah, my name is Alex, and I've been running Web3 clubs now 2 years. We started out mostly doing media for blockchain and crypto sector here in Africa, and then moved over to building developer capacity, launching projects about 2 years ago. And my background is around programming. I build with Java and now tinkering with Rust. I try to also plug into the cohorts we run. Not so well in the past, but moving on, I'd like to stack up my skills with the cohortees and see what we can build in the new year.
Wonderful. And Faith, I understand you're an alumnus of Web3 clubs. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience and how you got involved?
Hello. So.
Hi. Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, so I got involved with Web3 clubs. That was August last year to learn Cairo for Starknet blockchain ecosystem, and since then the tutors have been very patient with me. I was I had some some personal issues that made me really inconsistent, but the tutors were very, very there for me and created lots of times out of their schedules to make sure I meet up. And they impacted me a lot because when I finally got up to speed with the craft, I started making impact in my own community, my field, and in the ecosystem. So I attribute most of my successes in the tech space to Web3 clubs and the devotion of the management at Web3 clubs. Yeah.
Great. And Jordan, I understand you're a trainer with Web3. Can you tell us a little bit about your?
Okay, awesome. My name is Jordan Muthemba, and I'm a smart contract developer and also Web3 trainer. So I've been training developers, I think now for like 3 years, but early last year, I joined the Web3 clubs, training the developers on Web3 development in terms of smart contract and how to like consume them, also build fully-fledged decentralized applications. So I don't know if how I got into the technology or how I got into blockchain. It's something really interesting because I was in an internship and I was looking on how I can be able to like apply my skills after campus and such. And that's when my CEO told me that there is this technology you can use to create ERC20 token, and that's how I got into the space.
Wonderful. So we have a student alumnus, a trainer, co-founder, somebody involved with community development, and an owner, right? Austin, your thoughts on this group?
I'm super excited to learn more about them, what they're building, what inspires them. It's awesome to see people around the world building. So my thoughts are just in anticipation and excitement to get into the conversation.
So for the benefit of our audience who may not know what Web3 is all about, right? Can you tell us sort of what are some of the salient features of Web3 and how is that different from Web2 applications or even Web1 for that matter? What distinguishes the kind of development that is required? What is Web3 as you understand it, and what kind of development is going on? Who wants to take that question?
Jordan, you want to go or should I go?
Okay, I can do that. Yeah. One of the core feature or something that I really like about Web3 is that there is a lot of ownership of data if you compare it to Web2, and that is one of the major differences between Web2 and Web3. And the other core feature of blockchain is the transparency nature of it, whereas in Web2, the technology is major, or the data part of it is majorly controlled by company or individuals, for that matter. In terms of development, there is also differences because we've seen smart contract usage, which are self-executing, and they are terms which are encoded, whereas in Web2, the focus is more on kind of centralizing data. But still, there are similarities when it comes to front-end development, because consuming of the smart contract and the APIs is generally done by integrating the JSON structure. But I really didn't want to like do more technical differences or analysis of the different technologies. Maybe Ochieng can do a little bit more of it.
Sorry, did I just repeat that? What did you say?
I said maybe you can explain it more a little bit without more terminology.
Oh, the technical. All right. So the way I look at it is basically like technology is really just about improving lives, improving how we do things, how we access services, and and basically that's what the internet was all about. And as the internet has grown, there's been a demand for more value from these technologies, and basically that's what Web3 is now providing us the opportunity to do, right? So, for example, if you look at its applications in finance, proof of ownership, basically, things like that. Web3 really is just bring about more access to its users. So one of the use cases that I like is how Web3 is opening up finance to people who are otherwise left out, and as much as this is being explored, there's much to come. So yeah, basically access to services for everyone, and I think this is the promise that I'm excited about.
Right. So if I can summarize, I think some of the salient features of Web3 technology is that it's based around a sort of an ownership economy, and it's decentralized, right? Of course, distributed, but certainly decentralized. Jordan, you mentioned things about ownership, where we get to own our data, right? Things are far more transparent, right? A lot of the code is open source and therefore available to anyone. And then what else is there? So, and I think what ends up happening is that if we couple this with other developments in AI and IoT, I think it will certainly give a new way to approach this whole idea of how do we improve lives, as Ochieng was talking about, right? Access to services, so decentralized finance, right? Tokenized tokenization of assets, for example, remittances and things of that nature. So a lot of potential there, a lot of promise, and so very in a very exciting space to be. And there's a lot of data that shows that the number of the funding in East Africa and Kenya, particularly, has grown substantially in the last couple of years. So it looks like there's a lot happening in here. Austin, any comments on that?
I'm not necessarily comments on that, but more so of just eager to learn how y'all are using this technology to bring, Ochieng, you said technology is about improving lives. So I'm eager to hear how y'all are seeing that to where it can impact and improve lives in Eastern Africa and in the parts of the world that you're in. Because we put a huge emphasis on the financial part, which is going to bring a huge impact. But I'm eager to hear, what y'all are building and, what some of the tools that you see that can make the massive impact and improve lives. So Karim, I'll turn it over to you to lead that. But that's what I'm eager to learn about is what tools are y'all building? What inspires you? What is it that the vision of these tools being built, how it's going to impact those lives and whatnot?
Right. So if I may suggest that I have a couple questions for Faith, and then let's come back to this thing about how do we improve lives and how what's inspiring Ochi and company, right? And this is a question maybe for Faith to respond to. Jordan, you mentioned smart contracts, right? Perhaps we can demystify what is smart contracts, and how is it similar or different from a regular object-oriented piece of code? Faith, do you want to speak to that, please?
Okay, yes, please. Okay, so when we talk about smart contracts are majorly self-executing contracts where an agreement, more like an agreement, is written in the contract, and if the parties involved in the contract fulfill their own part of the agreement, then the contract gets self-executed. So once we talk about smart contract and compare it with normal code, smart contract needs to be deployed on the blockchain. It needs to be deployed on the blockchain before you can have access to interact with the smart contracts, with the code in the smart contract or the functions in the smart contract. And to deploy the smart contract, you need a wallet address. You need a wallet as an externally owned wallet account, that would deploy this smart contract to the blockchain, whatever blockchain, Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, Starknet. And once it is deployed, it gives you an on-chain address that you can view with a scan, with that particular blockchain scan, and then you can see if that contract has been verified. You can see the various functions, the read functions and the write functions. And then in deploying these contracts, it takes a bit of crypto to deploy. And when you are performing write actions, anything that changes the state of that contract, the state of that contract on your blockchain, maybe it increases number of users, as long as it changes the state, it's a write function. It's a write function, and then it takes some crypto to change. But then if you just want to read this information on the blockchain, you don't need to connect your wallet to pay some little crypto to read the information. Unlike the Web2 application where you just need the website link, the website address, and then you just go to the website and view the information you want to view in that website. So once it comes to smart contracts, you have access to interact with this smart contract through the scan present, or if it has been integrated into a decentralized application. So yeah, that is the difference between the smart contract and the Web2 application.
So if I can summarize based on what I understand, is that really a smart contract is a code that sort of is an abstract that might represent a transaction on the blockchain, right? The blockchain is arguably a trustless protocol, right? And the analogy of a smart contract is something like a vending machine. You put in some tokens, and if you put in the right amount, you press a certain button, then you get your package of chips or your pop or candy or chocolate or whatever, right? So that's once the requirements are fulfilled, the transaction takes place. And so so this is represented in code on the blockchain, which is a trustless protocol. So you don't have intermediaries getting involved. Is that fair? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right. So it allows us to interact and transact without intermediaries, right? Without what are known as centralized institutions. Right? And you talked about Starknet. What is that?
Yes, Starknet is a protocol. It's a
protocol.
Hello?
Okay.
Yeah, it's a protocol, just like you have Ethereum. It's a layer 2 protocol. Yes.
And can you tell us a bit about your experience? How were you able to learn about this? How were you able to access the resources, to code, to get involved and do all of this stuff?
Okay, so I started out as a Web2 developer, a normal web developer, and I was doing some courses with Google, and did the front end course with Google, and then I stumbled upon a hackathon, a Web3 hackathon, and there were smart contract developers, but they needed a front end developer to help integrate their smart contract into and create a DApp, which was very alien to me at that time. That was 2022, and so I was already doing React at that moment, but I didn't know how to use the smart contract ABI because I was more used to integrating APIs from normal backend like Node.js and Flask. But then I had to do a little research and did a bit of integration, and we submitted for the hackathon. And after that, I decided to understand what a smart contract was and how to fully integrate a smart contract into a DApp. And I started doing some courses online, a lot of courses. I did Grow Week Solidity, I did Ecolance and some courses online. And then I went for a physical boot camp in at a Web3 Bridge where I did an in-depth 4-month course on Solidity development, smart contract development. And after that, after the training, that was when I got introduced to Starknet ecosystem and using Cairo as the programming language. And in order to gain more knowledge about Cairo, I got introduced to Web3 clubs. And that was when I joined and signed up for their program, which was free. And we started doing the training and the courses, and I started understanding how to deploy, how to write Cairo code and deploy on Starknet ecosystem. But prior to that, I had already started working on EVM compatible chains. I started deploying to Filecoin, FVM. I have started working with Celo, deploying on Celo, deploying on using Tron network, the open network. I started writing threaded Solidity as at that point. So I already had experience using Solidity to deploy on the blockchain. But then Cairo, so learning the Cairo was a little bit steep, but it was easy because of my background with the Solidity. And that was how I learned how to write smart contracts and deploy smart contracts on Starknet ecosystem. Yeah, so that has been my experience so far. I've been building on different chains, different blockchain, doing research on how things. I can just think of something random and just say how can this be executed on this blockchain, and also working with Near protocol, understanding their blockchain operating system and different cool components that can be built on the Near and on the bus under the Near protocol using Rust and JavaScript or TypeScript. Yeah, so my journey, that's how my journey has been in summary.
All right. Well, just for the benefit of our audience, Faith was talking, brought a lot of names and things out there, and just to help you out with that. One thing she talked about APIs, and APIs are nothing more than an application interface. So if I were to bring up, this is my Safaricom application. So this is when you talk about APIs, the idea is that you interact with the systems through, on this case, on a smart mobile phone, and that's the application interface. We talked about Cairo. Cairo is just like a programming language, right? If I'm correct.
Yes, the programming language.
Right. So lots of new
Okay, so yeah, Celo, Tron, those are ecosystems, those are protocols. Yeah.
Right. Okay. So thank you for clarifying that. So, and I want to ask a question.
Thank you.
To Alex about, how do you find and recruit talent like people like Faith, and how do you empower them? How do you train them? How does your system work? What does tell us about Web3 clubs and what you're doing and your mission?
Awesome. Yeah, sure. So how how we structured Web3 clubs when we were starting out was to have chapters in universities and colleges and tertiary institutions, and attempt to install clubs in those institutions, or plug into existing computer and IT engineering clubs, and then use that as a launch pad for autonomous communities within these universities. So the next evolution from this was having learners then go through resources in a guided manner, and leave the autonomy bit to the administration, to the administration roles of running a club, while we deliberately then take the learners through cohorts. So these cohorts would see learners from different institutions, towns, now countries and universities go through recruitment or shortlisting, and then we'd take them through a curated program. This might be in partnership with the particular ecosystem and stack we're trying to learn. So for first cohort, for example, we partnered with the NEAR protocol, and we had about 50 learners from these clubs take up Rust language and take up building and getting certified as NEAR protocol programmers. So we had about 30 of them go through that certification. This was the biggest cohort or a group of certified developers injected into the NEAR ecosystem, especially on the continent in one go. That was beautiful to see. And what we've started to realize is the range of talent and skill from the pool of developers is quite large. So from that group, we had 2 developers stand out, and NEAR reach out and let us know, these 2 developers out of the thousands of NEAR developers who've gone through this course, these are among the top 100 developers we've seen get certified, and they invited over the guys over to Lisbon for the NEARCon, and some of them got taken into the NEAR ecosystem for various roles that they're continuing up to now. So majorly the delivery is through cohorts. At times we won't have a partner or an official partner to launch these programs with us, whether it's issues to do with timing or timing of the markets, and just maybe the protocol is not quite aligned with looking to Africa or such things at the time, and so we take it upon ourselves to bootstrap these cohorts and see it through. The programs are 4 months long. We have hybrid online and in-person delivery. The in-person bootcamps and sometimes hackathons will punctuate the 4 months. So we'll try and have one every month, and we like to have them quite intense. So it's 10-hour days, 2 full day sessions where people are hacking around the stack, trying to figure out the pain points, trying to demonstrate the projects they're working for the cohort, and then also attempt to peer program with others and try and learn from each other as well. And also network, create friends. Some people have gone on to build companies from these interactions and startups. Some of them have gone to build amazing products. Some of them have gone to get support in funding and networking globally. Some of these alumni have also had opportunities outside of the continent as well to build with amazing teams. We have, for example, Cindy, who's now going through the Polkadot series on Rust in Hong Kong. We have just recently a bunch of our developers taken up by Nethermind to help with solutions over there, and so that's what we've seen work, especially now this last cohort, which we'd say is a more successful cohort. We've seen a lot of impact for the developers who've gone through that. We've had, like Faith was just mentioned, Cairo and Starknet a bit new, and they're building a whole entire paradigm from the ground up around zero knowledge, new programming language that's Cairo, that has evolved even as you learn one version. Next week is a newer version of it, and you have to relearn many things. But they saw it through, and this speaks also to the recruitment that we attempt to do, because it takes a lot of grit for these developers to see through some of this tech. And so we've had Starknet, reach out to some of these builders and support them with grants to assist them to stick through the programs. And recently we did we like to do graduations here, in-person sessions where you get your certificate, and now with NFTs as well. We're excited about where we go next. We like to pursue stacks that are quite at the edge of Web3. So we are now looking to zero knowledge, having a zero knowledge cohort. And it's quite challenging, but it's something we really want to look into, do foundational training around mathematics and core engineering concepts, cryptography and such. So that's where we're looking to move into the new year, and we're excited to now expand out of Kenya, with Faith here being our first West African developer, and we'd like to see more movement to the south as well to further west and the north as well. So thank you very much.
Oh, very impressive. So what I heard is that you basically start at the grassroots level. You've been going out to colleges and universities, trying to develop some momentum there with clubs and recruit from sort of technical clubs and what have you, where you sort of screen and you select individuals that come through your program. And then you have mixed mode of learning. So you have basically some stuff, there's some content that is delivered online, and other stuff that happens in person, right? So like your hackathons, and maybe you can just talk a little bit about what a hackathon is. But I also heard that you've had some impressive results, and that your alumni have then gone on to get further training in parts of Europe and Asia. They've been given grants, they've been employed, they've developed their own startups. So very impressive. And what you're looking to do next is try and incorporate some of these new technologies like zero knowledge proofs and what have you, right? I guess I hope that's a good summary. Austin, your thoughts on that?
I think you summed it up great. I think it's awesome to hear, like you said, the grassroots movement. So going in and empowering people that are actively pursuing knowledge in this in their universities and their local areas, and finding talent and being able to uplift them and provide them with more resources and get them a part of a team or a club that is aspiring to do the same things. And it was funny when you're bringing up the the challenges of learning the programming language Cairo, which I never heard of before. So I'm looking to some more. When Faith first brought that up, I thought she was saying like Cairo, Egypt, and I was just like, I was lost for a little bit until y'all referenced it as a programming language. But it was funny, that it continues to upgrade in the challenges of staying on top of it, and just shows like the determination of, hey, we want to learn this stuff, and we want to be able to be on top of the game. And then it's cool to hear the opportunities it's brought. You mentioned the NearCon, and they brought you out to Lisbon and build out some stuff there. So it is very cool to see, and it's very just it's interesting to hear the journey and see where y'all are going.
Right, and so they're also expanding. They want to go, north, south, west also. Ochi, I wanted to ask you a little bit about sort of the demand side of things. Uh, are we seeing what is the role of sort of government in helping you perhaps create push this agenda forward in terms of training? What's happening with industry leaders? Do you hear from folks like Microsoft and Google and IBM? What's happening with conferences? Can you tell us about the demand side and then also some of the challenges that you face in trying to I guess recruit individuals and what is the sentiment of individuals at colleges and is that the only place to go?
So the demand is kind of multidimensional. So you've got the developers themselves who are looking for opportunities. So on that end, we find that the Kenyan youth and just the general tech environment is, I think as a culture here in Africa is that people are really ambitious. There's a go-getting attitude, and guys are always looking for the next opportunity. So in that sense, the technology is being embraced, and everywhere we go, we see curiosity, we see interest. So there's excitement in that regard. In terms of other players in the system, you've got the chains themselves. So the chains are looking to grow their influence. They're looking to basically have dApps deployed on their platforms. So those guys are also excited. They're very present in the region. So you've got layer ones, layer twos, very active. Basically putting up together activities. Like hackathons. Basically, a lot of reaching out. So they're trying to reach out to the developer ecosystem in the country. Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa are known for being some of the, I guess, the best. Having some of the best developer communities in the continent. Kenya can brag about having upwards of 10 to 15,000 developers, right? So most of these guys exist in the Web2 space. So we are basically trying to onboard these guys because most of them are really, really skilled. But some of them are comfortable. They've got their day jobs, they've got their clients. So Web3 is basically evangelizing the opportunities in the space, the career opportunities, the impact opportunities. So the ecosystem players come in, the chains come in, and they do offer some support, although I think they struggle with how to interface with our communities here, with our developer communities. Many of them have their own ideas on what works best. So Web3 Clubs, in many ways, acts like a launch pad for these guys to basically enter our developer ecosystem. So, as you know, we do a lot of the training. Web3 Clubs is the biggest Web3 developer community in East Africa. So yeah, there's interest in that regard. Government is very interesting because now Kenya has a new government that is very kind of excited about technology. The Kenya government is trying to boost, basically the economy, and they're really open to whatever opportunities are available. And so one of our co-founders, by the name of Alan Kaikai, plays the role of CEO of a local organization called the Blockchain Association of Kenya. So basically, what they are trying to do is they are engaging government in coming up with legislation to basically lay down like a framework for which now government can basically roll out, officially endorse blockchain technology, because there's a lot of ambiguity as to what blockchain is. Most people learned about blockchain through Bitcoin, and Bitcoin has a strong legacy of scams, and a lot of that was just due to lack of information. So now we have developers, we have, basically technologies. So we basically have guys who are actively building on chain, also representing us in the conversations around regulation. So the demand from government is there, and also there's products that we are looking to build. Actually, in the process of building infrastructure kind of projects that will serve to kind of demonstrate what this technology can do for our country, for our people, and for the economy. So that's that in terms of government. Challenges around recruitment and basically just growing these communities is so the way we go about it is that we reach out to our core focus is tertiary level developers or just blockchain enthusiasts or tech enthusiasts, and we were quite ambitious in that we basically reached out to different parts of the country. So we went to the coastal region, we went to the lake region, and also here in Nairobi. And the way we did this is we just went to the ground, went to the campuses, identified the devs there, the guys who are doing computer engineering courses, computer science related courses, identified the talent there, and so you find that some of the best developers are not necessarily well equipped to even fully harness the possibilities of this technology. So for example, some guys have devices that are not able to handle the requirements. But then you find that these guys are the most motivated in most cases. And some of our best talent actually basically are guys who are facing those challenges. However, they themselves don't have that mentality like, oh, we lack this or we lack that. These guys literally are hacking everything. They're hacking the technology, they're hacking their own devices. They're like super hackers. So that's a beautiful thing. So what we try to do now is, as we engage the different partners that we work with, who are now, the blockchains, and and just other players, we try as much as possible to sponsor the developers who show the most promise. So we do this by the way of providing them with data. We also take care of a lot of their logistical needs, such as transport. So, for example, the boot camps largely happen in Nairobi. So some of these guys are not in Nairobi, so we organize for them to come around. We pay their fares. In some cases, we actually arrange for their accommodation. Yeah, so in a nutshell, I hope I've answered your question, Karim.
Yes, you certainly did. So what I heard is that you're getting a lot of support. There is definitely an interest. I've read lots of reports that talk about the funding to VCs and the money that is being spent for this kind of for Web3 technology. I also heard a little bit about some of the challenges that you face, but what you do is you're adding value by identifying talent at campuses, and then and some of these candidates don't even have I guess proper laptops, but they are super keen, and they have that hacker mentality in their blood, and that's you're trying to figure that out. And once you get that, you get them over here. So it's like a scholarship of sorts, right? They come to the hackathon. They got a place to stay in the city. They might be coming from a rural environment where they don't really have very much. So you got to pay for their transportation, their meals, and what have you. So and as I say that, there was a question from Chiri, said he was very interested and wanted to know a little about the next cohort. And so we'll get to that in a second. I do have a question for Jordan. Can you tell us a little bit about, where are you adding value? How are you making a difference? What are you doing differently than, say, you would get from an online course or from something in a computer science department or an information sciences course? What are you doing to add value and nurturing this talent and making it move forward?
Okay, thank you, Karim, for that question. So one of the major difference that as a developer that I really learned is that we learn programming by doing and by building. And that is one of the key differences. So sometimes you may watch a lot of YouTube videos, but you are stuck in a particular loop where you don't have an idea of how I can be able to apply this skill. So with the capstone project, you are able to be, as a developer, I'm able to give like an assignment on the capstone project. Maybe let's say if you would want to build a decentralized application, that is a DeFi app. You will be able to learn by doing it and by building it, and being able to learn like what are some of the parameters that needs to be in this particular function, what are some of the logical or business logic are supposed to be involved. And apart from that, sometimes I do like to maybe have the developers or the student explore like a little a pain point in the society. Like how can you be able to like maybe help solve a supply chain issue, maybe in terms of logistics, If it's in health, how can I be able to apply this technology in health? And you come up with a project that really solves that particular problem. So the structure of it, somehow, it's also driven in a way that the developers will be able to kind of pitch their ideas in hackathons and globally in different hackathons. And also, at the end of the day, the idea is not just to help them learn the technology, but it's also to help them kind of come up with an idea that can also be able to help them maybe build a startup. Even if not build a startup, they can also be able to maybe form quote unquote a freelancing career where they are able to join different companies or freelance for themselves. The thing I do like about Web3 is that you can be able to kickstart your career without having a lot of experience, but having the motivation to be able to learn and be able to build products. So like Alex, I think Alex and Ochi have mentioned a lot of these developers are really curious to learn about the technology and be able to push themselves out there into the world and make an impact.
Great. So it's practical oriented. It's about doing, right? It's about addressing a situation in the current
Hope I've
context.
answered your question.
Yes, you did. Yeah. So wonderful. So we're coming up. We're just past 50 minutes. So I've got a question for Ochi, Alex. When is the next cohort? And if somebody is interested, how do they join or contact you, or what are the next steps?
Yeah. So let me start with how to join. Basically, follow us on Twitter at Web3 Clubs, Twitter X. There's a link tree link on there on the bio, and that takes you to our Discord, where we administrate the communities. There's a link there to WhatsApp, where we have our day-to-day, interactions and where we're most active. So those two links will have you really, in tune with what we're doing. And for what we're doing next, we actually just finalizing 2 cohorts. This is the first time we're doing 2 cohorts at the same time. So this year we've pretty much focused on Rust and Rust-based stacks. And so one of the cohorts where we're looking to launch is a Polkadot cohort. Then we have the other cohort is more of an introductory to Rust full stack, and then from there launch from their launch on different stacks. So the second cohort will be form the foundation of Rust, but then let the developers sort of pick which protocols to build on. So this could be Arbitrum with Stylus. We could have a repeat of some people doing Polkadot, building on Substrate, and such. Something we're very keen on this year as well is Rust Ethereum, Wreath, that the Ethereum Paradigm launched. We are also quite keen on advanced Cairo from the teams that just completed the Starknet cohort. So it's going to be a busy year, but the main theme is Rust, full stack through and through. It's going to be a lot of, as well, low-level EVM and such. But when it comes to the partners we're working with, currently We have the team at Hadao. That's one of the largest community developer communities around the world. So we're working with them for the Polkadot cohort. Then we have a government-sponsored track for the full stack Rust program that will branch out to various protocols. So for this quarter, that's exactly what we're working with.
Brilliant. Thank you. So what I heard was that they should get a hold of you, follow your Twitter link, and you also have a WhatsApp group, and you've got sort of two cohorts working simultaneously this time. So wonderful. Welcome, Janeth. So we have a global audience. Janeth is here from Colombia, South America. Welcome. Good to see you. Good afternoon. Greetings. Yes. So we're pretty much ready to kind of wrap up. Austin, your thoughts, comments. What's going on?
I mean, this has been a very engaging and great conversation to be a part of. One thing that I love about it is it's like the spirit of Web3, and we're watching it and being able to participate in it live. And what y'all are doing with Web3 clubs, it's cool that y'all are taking matters into your own hands and not relying on the education systems, not relying on the governments to train each other and train and educate your fellow citizens and people in your areas. Like what y'all are doing is essentially like you see an opportunity here where Web3 is in a massive demand for talent and skill sets, and one of those skill sets is development, and it's going to be needed for the foreseeable future. And the way that y'all are able to uplift the fellow people around you with training and courses and hackathons and cohorts is like incredible. I mean, it's absolutely incredible that y'all are doing that, and it's exciting that y'all are taking matters into your own hands. And like I said, it's like the spirit of Web3. This is where us as the individuals have the ability to have the power in our own hands, and y'all see an opportunity here to educate one another and also provide opportunities. There's going to be people that y'all provide courses for and provide programming education and hackathons and groups for, that are going to go on and be a part of building some of the next greatest protocols that are going to hit the world. And there's going to be tons of opportunities for the people that come through, and even for yourselves. And so it's very cool that y'all are providing that opportunity. And like I said, there's a huge demand for development. There's always demand. I mean, there's right now we see where Web3 is, depending on the numbers you're looking at, there's not a massive amount of adoption across the world as far as usage right now. And over the next few years, we're going to see that exponentially grow, where there's going to be millions of people every single day onboarded into Web3, and they're going to be needing robust systems. They're going to need user experiences that are easy and simple, and they're going to need backends that are functioning, and y'all are part of building that infrastructure. So it's very, very cool to see, and just the opportunity that Web3 brings for the world. Y'all are living examples of it, and I'm honored to be a part of this space with y'all. I mean, it's very interesting, and I look forward to seeing some of the stuff that y'all build and the development that comes out of the Web3 clubs. And it's inspiring as well.
Great.
Like, it'd be cool to see. And I imagine there is the same thing happening maybe in the States or in Latin America or in Asia, but even if it's not, y'all are building a model that others can replicate. You can see where maybe there's somebody, like we've seen Janet in Colombia comment, maybe there's somebody in South America right now that's thinking, oh, like I can be able to uplift my local area with, teaching them development skills and providing the opportunity of Web3. And the beautiful thing about Web3 is that it's a blank canvas. It's an open arena for anybody around the world. Doesn't matter where you're from, doesn't matter what background you have. If you have the determination to build and create something, this is a massive opportunity, and y'all are providing that opportunity for people. So hats off to y'all. I mean, y'all are doing massive amount of work, and it's great to see and be a part of.
Right. We got a comment from AKDN talking about sort of Web3 in agriculture. There's certainly a lot happening there. Um, Web3 combined with IoT and AI is allowing us to do all kinds of innovative things with respect to in agriculture and then some. And maybe that's something that we can have another conversation about. But before we get going, Austin, what's that on your shirt? This Empower You.
This right here, I have it underneath my X handle there as well. And one thing I want to do is, I don't know if we can put it in the comments or whatnot, but put everybody's X handles that we can follow everybody. But on my shirt here it says hashtag Empower Unity, and it's a global wide movement and sparked by the Monster My City NFT. And the monsters are an Ethereum NFT. It's just a group of people around the world that are here to pioneer Web3, and it's open to anybody to join. And it's like I said, Empower Unity is a movement to empower people with the tools of Web3, with the tools of technology, and unite us. There's so much that can happen if we actually unite across society and unite across the world and actually use the technology for the benefit of the people. And a lot of our value is being extracted by big tech and centralized corporations, and for better or for worse, that's always a debate. But then the day, Web3 provides an opportunity for us to have more power over the value we provide. And we're heading into a digital economy where you know it's gonna be right now it's like a 50-50 toss up whether big techs can continue the control over that, or if people are gonna stand up and have control and ownership in the next digital economy. So the monsters are spearheading that movement, but Empower Unity is a movement for humanity of empowering others with tools and technology, just like y'all are doing with Web3 clubs. Y'all are empowering others, and with education, with knowledge, with training, with skill sets and inspiration. And then what happens if we all unite and collaborate? There's will be a very powerful force. And so Empower Unity is a movement, and we aim to bring that global. And part of that you see on the screen here that just got brought up is a QR code. Well, there's ways that you can collect and be a part of this movement. And one of the big problems that you have right now is a barrier of entry, is the onboarding process. And so onboarding into Web3 has been extremely difficult, and the user experience has not been very simplified. And the QR code right here leads to a technology that is recently launched, and it's going to pioneer and be the backbone and infrastructure of Web3 and the Empower Unity movement. And this is a collectible stamp. You can collect it. It downloads an app. It sets you up into Web3 in a matter of 3 buttons, and it onboards you into a wallet that is very seamless and very simplified. It's far better experience than you'll find with Ethereum, Polkadot, Solana, Bitcoin, and getting into Web3. But this is a digital collectible just to say, like, hey, I'm a part of this movement. I'm a part of Web3, and you can collect them. And these stamp series have been going out over the last 2 weeks, and this is number 11 of the stamp series that's live for the next 5 hours, and another one will go live, in a few hours from now. But this is a stamp that y'all can collect, and takes about it's an app on the App Store, Google Play Store, that takes about literally 20 seconds to set up. So it's absolutely it's a fun process, but it's something that is essentially connecting us all together, and it's connecting the world. And so blockchain is about providing opportunity and ownership, and this is just the first step in that direction with the Opus AI. So when you scan that, it'll have you download the Opus AI app, and you'll see that we'll be connected across the world. Karim, you're muted.
So the idea is that with the Opus AI app, it's sort of like social finance, right? Where I have a proof of participating in a social event, like participating in a Twitter space, or this conversation that we had here, or a conference, a festival, and it can go well beyond that too, to providing and acknowledging clients that take up service. So, for example, Ochi and company, Alex, they could then turn something like that into like a certificate could be an NFT that once a student goes through their course, they would use the app, and that would be proof that they have gone through this training and cohort and have a certain level of expertise in Rust or Cairo, what have you, right?
Yeah, I mean, and also like the very beginning of setting up that app. And again, the app is just access to a technology, no different than, and y'all are developers, so you're probably familiar with it, with MetaMask. MetaMask is access to the Ethereum chain. Is MetaMask Ethereum? No, it's just an app that gives you access to it. So this Opus AI app is an application that gives you access to the Opus chain. And it's like I see in the comment here, like creating our own blockchain networks. The Opus chain is a network that is brand new, and when you set that up, you're provided a smart key. So in reference to what Karim is mentioning, what y'all can use the smart key for is like reputation management. So instead of needing somebody's full name and trusting their word or where they're from or their credentials, that reputation can all be tied to the smart key, and it'd be on a blockchain that's transparent. You can see the courses they've completed as that starts to become more open source and robust. It is just the very beginning of it, but the smart key itself is going to be a major impact for identity management, reputation management, and it's set up within, like I said, 20 seconds and fully decentralized where anybody can get access to it. So it's awesome to see. And I can see tons of ways that the Web3 clubs can build things using it. So it'll be cool to see like a hackathon in the future with the Web3 clubs a part of it, and when and the SDKs and the APIs all open up for the Opus AI.
Very cool. Very cool. Ray, any closing remarks, thoughts before we head out?
No, it just really what Austin was saying, like when he was kind of talking about just the amazing. I mean, this space moves super fast. I mean, I'm not telling you anything that nobody doesn't know. And to see what you guys are doing and trying to keep everybody up to speed on this technology, you're going to change your whole area. I mean, and that's what's amazing. It's what's inspiring. You see all the comments. You guys got an amazing community. It's just great. This is what he's talking about. When he's saying empower unity, it's great to meet you. Like I said, it was a great conversation. And Karim, I thank you for putting all these these shows together, because these are amazing guests, and it's awesome to see. Like we say, we're kind of in our own little bubble over here in the U.S., and we just kind of see what we're doing over here. But that is amazing. That's what we want to see is this world change. That's kind of the whole point. So yeah, kudos. Really appreciate you guys. Thank you, Faith, too, ladies. I appreciate you. It was a great show, and thank you.
So Ochi, Alex, Jordan, Faith, Asante Sana, as we say in Kiswahili, Karibuni tena, tutaonana. We'll see you again, I'm sure, if not in Nairobi, but somewhere on the space. And looking forward to collaborating and doing something when I'm next in town. Ochi, any closing remarks?
Yeah, just want to say thank you for the opportunity for this conversation. Also, it's been quite an honor to meet you, Karim, and to know you. And you've really been pivotal, in a lot of what we're doing. You're a great mentor and advisor, and we're just really glad that we're working together, and we're looking forward to more. Yeah.
Wonderful, and maybe we'll see.
Also great to meet Austin and Ray. Such a pleasure. Yeah, hope to connect more in future, guys.
Yeah, we're trying to get them down to Eat Safari this year. So
that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome. One thing I want to say is I want to extend an invite also. We host a Twitter space or X space around the clock, and it's usually running 16, 17 hours a day of live conversation. But I want to extend the invite to where maybe we can set up a roundtable panel as well on X where y'all can come in and we can just keep on the brainstorming, keep on building the ideals, and just keep the conversation flowing and learning more about what y'all's inspiration and drive is and what we can do to help. I mean, we have a global group of people, as you've seen from the audience in the comments. I mean, there's people around the world that want to see this change happen, and it's not so much about like, hey, crypto has this bad taste where people just want to make money on it, and they miss that there's actual infrastructure here that will change society. It'll actually change every fundamental infrastructure in the world. And we've seen some cases of that with the mobile money adoption with M-Pesa. And that wasn't blockchain, but just seeing the impact that that had. Imagine if we were able to put that in the blockchain. So I want to extend an invite to all of you. Crypto Simba maybe can coordinate it. But we are on spaces all the time and bring y'all on there and continue the conversation and bring more awareness around the development and what y'all are doing, because I mean it's incredible work, and that stuff like this needs to be highlighted in the space. We put too much emphasis on the fluff sometimes in Web3, and that's the stuff that gets brought to light where there's actual people building things that are going to make massive impact. So I'd love to highlight some of y'all on the spaces. And like I said, we're running those 16, 17 hours a day. And if we're not in there, we're over on YouTube. Like right now, this is being streamed into spaces. So there's people listening to this on X right now. We've had thousands of people go in there over the last 2 weeks. So you'll be able to get more awareness of it. But it's very, very cool. Sorry, Simba, didn't mean to interrupt you there.
Thank you, Ochi, for the kind words. Next week we have Felix, who's from Katani Pay, who's gonna talk about onboarding. So same place, same time. We look forward to that. Again, thank you very much. Thanks for Web3 Social Networks for supporting us. Ray, thank you again. And we'll call it a night. Thank you.
Thank